Welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast, your number one source of all things bodybuilding. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on future episodes. Now, here's your host, Leroy Rollins.
Okay, what's on your mind? What can we dive into?
Oh, dude, I thought you had topics.
No, or we could just do an open discussion and just see where it goes.
Okay, yeah, we could do that.
We could do that.
Okay, so here, I'll be the host for 5 minutes. Okay, give me an update. How's prep going?
How's prep going? Super good, actually. Like, honestly, I don't feel bad at all, which is nice. Obviously, like, we're still many weeks away from when the suck should happen, but we're 15 weeks out, I guess, so still got plenty of time to get a lot of body fat off. I still predict 20 pounds at least will go. But yeah, man, other than that, training's going good. I've had to be a little intelligent with programming. I'm doing like one set of deadlifts every other week just because I was getting like so ridiculously heavy and recovery was taking a beating. Between like deadlifting, squatting, bent over rowing, like my lower back was just like, hey dude, like you're just not giving me enough. And then doing like cardio on top of that, it was just like, I wasn't to the point where I was like injured at all, but it was just like, you know, you wake up and you're like, not the greatest.
Yeah. Oh, I felt like that like 90% of the days for the past probably like 3 years, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
yeah,
I just like live with a normal amount of back pain. Like it's good. It's exactly what it is at this point.
Yeah, and the only other thing is my right shoulder. It's definitely something rotator cuff, but I've been chasing like a 4-plate machine press. So once I hit that, I'll lay off a little bit, which hopefully is only 2 more weeks. I've given myself, once I hit that, then I'll give my shoulder a break, but until then, it can't break on me.
Yeah, like I mean, if you're, you always have little minor injuries that you're dealing with if you're training hard, and that's like just the way it goes. Like if you, if someone they feel good all the time, they feel totally fresh, and they're training 4 or 5 or 6 days a week, you're not training hard enough at all. So I actually use like I mean, if you're a bodybuilder, you're going to be in pain. You're going to have delayed onset muscle soreness, and that's the way it goes. And it shouldn't be constant in the same area all the time. But at the same, like on the other side of that is, if you're not actually acquiring minor injuries every so often, you're probably not training hard enough. And that's not like some weird, it's not me being funny or anything like that. Like, I mean, that's what happens. Like, you tweak a shoulder, you tweak an elbow, you tweak something. That's part of it. Like, if you're really truly pushing your maxes, if you're like training to failure, you're going to have these small injuries. And so anyone that like has good awareness and is safe and have decent form and a mind about them won't actually acquire like these major injuries generally. Yeah. Especially natural lifters, because you're just not under that much load. Yeah. Compared to enhanced bodybuilders. But yeah, like I mean, dude, I'm walking down the stairs at a time today from my squats on Sunday, right? And that's the honest God truth. And I'm like that like every week, the day after leg day and 2 days after leg day. Yeah. I mean, like anyone that's around me knows I always complain about my lower back and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting, eh? Like, you know, there's always something, right? Like the day you started like taking lifting seriously is like the day that something's probably always tender. You know what I mean? Whether it's your knees, low back, you know, rotator cuff, traps, like neck, like stupid shit like that. Like I remember, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago on the last rep of an overhead press, right like in my shoulder blade just was like, nope. And I was like, it was just one of those ones where you're like, oh, and it's like down your shoulder blade and you're like, fuck. Yeah. That's fine.
I was hack squatting not too long ago, maybe a month or 2 ago. And I was doing, it was my second leg day, which is like, second leg day in a week is like if I'm feeling fresh. Like at the start of a training block, I usually throw an extra one in. Yeah. And I was going to do a 50 rep set on hack squats. Sweet. And I got to like rep like 27 and something went wrong in my my shoulder blades.
Yeah.
And it was like a sharp shooting pain. It like took the wind out of me.
Right.
And I was like, but here's the thing though, like you're on here, you're in the hack squat, and you've got like, it's not like I was doing a 50 rep set, so it wasn't a bunch of weight or anything like that. But I'm like, you just take a second, like, are you good? Like, like can I
how bad
go on
is
this set? And then so you take a couple deep breaths and you go down for one. It was like 28, and I was like, I think so. I think I can top this out. And did a couple more. Like, okay, I'm going back to 50. I don't care.
I'm basically there.
That's just how you like. That's how you train. Like, I don't know. Like anyone that wants to take this whole thing seriously, whether you're a competitor or not, man, like you have to be able to kind of like switch into a different mode.
Yep.
Whenever you're training.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I had this conversation with Carrie the other day. For those listening, my fiance. And I was like, it's getting harder to train with people that don't. It doesn't even necessarily that you have to compete, but it's that attitude. You know what I mean? Like, me and you have talked about this a lot. That like, you don't like. We don't discriminate against people that don't compete or do compete or whatever. We just like to see people train hard. And, it's getting harder to train with people that maybe just don't have that intensity. And it's not for the, I'm better than them or anything like that. It's just like, I need that focus. I need that intensity towards training, whether I create that myself or whether it's me and you working out and we're kind of, yelling at each other one more. Like, I love that stuff. And I'm getting to the point now where it's getting a lot harder to not have that.
Yeah. No, like I almost, like probably 95% of the time I train alone, right? And,
yeah.
I almost prefer that. Like I like to call in a spot every once in a while. Like, and it doesn't have to be someone that's a bodybuilder or a powerlifter. Like if you ever see, usually it's like the closest girl to me at the gym. I'm just like, get over here and just make sure I don't shit my pants or, like my spine doesn't just like crumble on the floor or something like that. And yeah, it's like, I prefer to train alone because I can just get in my own space and I don't have to like, even in you, like we can both train hard, but like if I'm like, I mean, sometimes I like bang my head off a barbell before I do a set of squats. So you know what I mean? So I don't like anyone else to be even in my
get out of my
realm
space.
when I'm doing, like I just like to get in my own kind of thing. Yeah.
Get a little twisted in your own head.
Yeah, like you gotta get like, I mean, and it's not always like that. Like it depends on how I'm doing. For the longest time, for like 3 years in a row, it would just be like I just get into this zone where I wasn't angry or anything like that, and I wasn't like calling on any anger. It was just like I just wanted to like get to this place where there wasn't anything else, right? And so you just do that thing, and then it's just like, dude, like I could be able to listen to my music like full blast, and sometimes it's like I could hardly hear it.
Yeah,
you know
don't
what I mean?
even
Like,
hear it.
Yeah, it's a weird little like mind space that you get into.
Yeah.
But like you see like a lot of people that just like get mad just to get mad, and like it doesn't benefit them or like a bunch of this stuff, right?
Because it looks cool.
I mean, like. Yeah, like, and like, I'll forget to breathe or squats or deadlifts or something like that, and then all of a sudden, like rep 6, I was like, woo!
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm back. No, I hear you, and it's like I used to train alone basically up until I moved here because I worked at a private gym. So when it was time for me to train, like there was like trainers with clients and stuff, but I was always just headphones on by myself, and I would have those moments where I'm like, man, like I wish there was somebody around. Right? Like, whether I'd like see you on Instagram or see other guys on Instagram that were training hard, and I'd be like, man, I wish I had that around me. And then, now I'm at a public gym where there's no shortage of people everywhere, and most people there know me, know what I'm about, know what I'm doing, and they want to work out, and it's just like, okay, I had to put my foot down with a bunch of clients and be like, okay, like we got like one day a week, I'm cool. We'll get it in, and the other days, like, I need to go to work, so to speak, especially being on prep. It's just that much more focused.
Yeah, like I won't even travel to like 10 minutes away to train with someone when I'm prepping, which is like, I mean, that's a double-edged sword, right? Like, I mean, you miss out on a bunch of like cool opportunities to have like while you're prepping and stuff like that, and have great workouts, but yeah, you gotta lock it down for like certain things, right? And yeah, like there's a bunch of people that'll, like the one thing is like both of us, right? Like we'll never have the best physiques in the world or anything like that, but like I mean, it's hard to find someone to train us, right? So
Yeah.
And the same idea, like people might think that like maybe you or I are way stronger than we are, and we're just holding back or something like that. And it's just fun to look like we're training hard or something. It's not like that at all, right? So This is Jeanette, by the way. It's just that's just how it goes, right? Like you have to. So you can't just take everyone along for the ride because, I mean, first of all, you sacrifice your own workout. And then if you're like me, man, that bothers me all day. That bothers me for a week until I hit that body part again.
Yeah.
And like, it's not the biggest deal in the scheme of things, but just there's no benefit to someone tagging along in a workout with me or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
And like I found like, man, I really know when I'm going to hit failure, like on an exercise now, like because I've like put myself in multiple dangerous situations, like, you know, like decline barbell pressing or flat barbell pressing or squatting or doing all this stuff, and like I've hit failure.
Yeah.
First of all, you learn a bunch of ways to like MacGyver yourself out of failures. I'm like,
if nothing else, you're a magician.
But yeah, exactly. But then like today, like I trained chest and triceps, and I did my last set of decline presses. It was 230 for 6, and like. I mean, the fifth went up super slow, and like doubt was starting to creep in my mind. I was just like, I know what that feels like. That I'm not going to get this rep.
Yeah.
So man, like it was like a 8-second rep, the concentric part of it, but I knew I was going to get it up, right?
Yeah,
and like the downside of that is if I didn't, and if I guessed wrong, the barbells rested on my neck. But yeah, it's just like I think there's way more benefit initially when you're starting out, anyways. To training alone versus training with someone, as long as you know your stuff to a certain degree.
Yeah, like it's I don't know, like it's a level of seriousness almost because you're solely focused on that, right? Like you're not talking or you're not dicking around, going to the water fountain, like all this stuff. Like you kind of just have to like get in your own head about this and be like, okay, like this is what I need to do for the next hour or whatever it is, right? And there's no distractions, there's no things getting in your way. And yeah, like I agree with you. Like I think those first even your first 6 months of lifting, like kind of treat it as like you're going into like a cave for a little bit to learn some shit.
Yeah, well, first of all, that's like the funnest time, man. I wish I was that naive and I knew only that limited amount of knowledge. That was like the funnest time in training.
Yeah,
it was like your first 6 months or maybe your first year. You're just kind of learning things by yourself, and you're spinning your wheels a lot, but like you're just kind of like learning your own body and like learning what works best and like how to have efficient workouts and all this stuff, and like you learn a lot of new stuff every day. That was like the funnest time. But yeah, I mean there comes to a point too, and it really depends on what your goals are, specifically during your time that you're training too. That you'll have to have spotters at least, but probably training partners too, to like a certain degree, like maybe not every day, but for certain body parts and certain movements, right? So I mean you can't try certain things that you're unsure of without the aid of somebody, so whether it's a spotter, and like I said, like even the people that I call in for spots are usually just friends of mine or something like that. Like they're not like other bodybuilders or anything like that, because if I need someone to spot me on something, well, I've overshot it. You know what I mean? Like if I need someone to help me, like I need another competitive bodybuilder or powerlifter, like if I need that, it's okay to grab that. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But it's a difference of like, is your max bench 275 and you're trying to hit 315 for some reason, or are you trying to hit 280? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and sometimes it's out of convenience. Like I know for me right now, I've been on this kick where on the last set of leg press, it's like this just stupid drop set, right? Like it starts with, 10, 12 plates, then it goes to 8, then it goes to 6, then 4. And that's just something like that. Like to do by yourself is simply put a pain in the dick. To like get up, take the plates. It's going to take away from it, right? Like for you to just be able to sit there, someone strips it, which takes like 3 seconds, you're back in, 3 seconds strip back in. That's like purely out of convenience. But no, like if you're, my favorite is the guys that are squatting and the other guys like bear hugging them. He's like, 3 more, dude. And you're like, well, you're getting half the lift too. So I guess you guys are both getting some legs done that day. But no, and I think people can misuse a spotter, right? Which is something you see a lot of, especially in younger lifters, right? Like they don't, we've all been there, right? I'm not saying that I was never in this situation, but you don't know at the beginning what a spotter's for, right? Because we've all been there where we're benching and buddy's, come on, and he's like, helping you get 6 more when you should have been done 8 reps ago. Or doing like, I don't know, like doing curls and they're standing in front of you, like helping you get the barbell up, like, like that stuff's really not doing much in all honesty, right? So it's learning when a spotter is helpful and when they're absolutely useless.
Yeah, it all depends, right? Like, I mean, I don't like assisted reps in any sort. Like, and forced reps, I really don't. If I'm going to do any sort of, like, most of my stuff now is just straight sets. But if I ever do anything, it might be like a single or a double drop or like a rest pause.
Yep.
I very rarely for my own training do supersets or trisets or anything like that. I don't do negatives because I don't use a spot very often, so you can't do negatives without a straight up training partner.
Yeah.
Usually. I like partials. I'd rather just take it to failure through a full range of motion and hit it from a different angle. That's what she. Yeah, man. I don't know.
Let's talk to me about your current exercise selection right now. What's new? What's exciting? What are you enjoying with right now?
Okay, so I just started 8 weeks of the 10-week block, and then I change my exercises probably every 10 or 12 weeks, sometimes 8. So right now, what's going on is day 1 is chest and triceps, then back and biceps, then a rest day / if I'm feeling fresh, whatever's freshest.
Fair.
Shoulders, forearms, legs,
forearms.
Abs.
Whoa, go back. Forearms.
100%.
Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I from like time to time, I don't put it in every training block because you can't. It's just one of those things that you'll just stall out getting progressively stronger on because there aren't very many different exercises to hit your forearms, obviously, right? So you got
this way
wrist extension and exactly. So like maybe one in every 2 or 1 in every 3 training blocks, I'll throw them in. And so like only thing I'm doing is behind the back barbell curls for flexors, and then just your standard barbell wrist curls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
like loading
Saturday,
that heavy. How are you structuring that?
Oh, so it's like I train shoulders at the start, right? And so I use like a magnum press, which is like a biangular neutral grip press.
Yep.
And do bent over side laterals, military press, side laterals, standing. Then dumbbell shrugs, and then dumbbell upright rows, and then those. I mean, everything is in between 2 and 4 sets and 8 and 12 reps, right?
Yeah.
And so for the barbell, like the wrist work or the forearm work, it's 4 sets of 12 and 4 sets of 10.
Cool.
But yeah, everything's moving well. Like I just did like the heaviest set of squats for 8 that I've ever done in my life. That was yesterday.
That's sick.
Yeah, 360 for 8. It was good too. And they still feel good. And like I got 3 more times. So I gotta try and beat that for 5 pounds. So if I can do 375 for 8 at 175 pounds, I'm quite pleased with that.
Yeah.
Even still, my opening set was 350 for 10, right? And I did 355 for 8. So I mean, that's double my body weight for 10. I'm ecstatic with that.
Good for you.
Training is going well. Like my bench is nowhere near what yours is, but like my bench is the best it's been ever again too. So like flat barbell press, it goes 4, 8, 8, 6, and I did 215, 220, 220, 225. And I try to keep rest in between like a minute and a minute and a half.
Okay.
Then incline barbell press, I'm not going to tell you my numbers because they're so bad. And then decline barbell press, I do 220, 225 for 8 and 8, and then 230 for 6. Deadlift is like, I'll never be the best deadlifter ever, but like I'm working like at the end of this training block, I should be able to do pretty comfortably 365 for 10.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right on,
Yeah,
man. So like all time strength is going down right now.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I don't ever stop getting stronger. It's just like it just takes time, right? And then like whenever you keep the same exercises in for like 2 training blocks in a row without like any sort of variation to the exercise,
Yep.
you really notice it, right? Because God, that's 50 pounds that you're putting on that in like the span of like 20 weeks.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, like I had a really good run like this year, like after April when I'd competed, probably from like let's call it May, because the last couple weeks after the show were a shit show, but like say from like May till like, I mean even still right now, like there's been a few hiccups here and there with like having to adjust like volume and stuff, but man, like my numbers were like the best ever, and it was awesome, and like I know like I found this comparison from when I was posing with Fidel, and like just my back, like from so much deadlifting and stuff, like how much it improved, like just thickness wise and stuff, and now like getting back to doing some kind of squat, like I'm hoping that it can climb up pretty good. I usually don't see any hit in performance on prep until I'm like sub 165. That's when like I can feel it a little bit, but I'm hoping like I think a lot of that might be in your head, so I'm gonna try to fight like as hard as I can to keep. And I'm smarter now with programming, right? Like if it means deadlifting once every 3 weeks at that point, like I'll still do it just to keep it in there because I think there'll be some value in that. But I'm hoping at least until I'm like in single digit body fat percentage wise, I can still like chase some relatively cool numbers.
Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of it is a mindset, and like I said, I'll never be the strongest bodybuilder ever. But even when I did nationals in 2018, I actually set PRs up until I was in the getting into 2 weeks out. I was like 2.5 weeks out, and I was still setting PRs on certain exercises, and I didn't get any weaker until I was about 10 days out.
Yeah, so
but
there you go, people. Don't get weak.
You have to reserve that, first of all, craziness, and then also energy for like that hour a day. Like you gotta, it's nuts. Like you got to conserve your fuel for sure. The one thing like a lot of people overlook whenever they're coming out of a contest prep phase and going into off season, or vice versa, is like how your leverages change on compound movements. So like I noticed even from when I was squatting at 185 pounds a few months ago, and I'm squatting 175 pounds now. Yeah. It looks different getting from the bottom range of motion to the top range of motion, right? Because there's less weight around my gut and around my butt, so it's just the way it goes. You have to kind of play with your leverage. Same with the deadlift, and same with like a bunch of things, right? So, like I feel like I can like squat as heavy as I did in my off season, probably even like heavy, like I don't know, like I could probably get stronger at squat up until like 160 or 165 pounds too. Like it's different, right? And especially like exercises like that where you're actually you're carrying less weight around can benefit you, right? So, but it all depends. It depends on your body type too, and like I said, some people's leverages have changed because they drop 20 pounds and it'll totally screw up their squat or their deadlift or whatever compound exercise.
Yeah, and like even like and it's always the bigger movements where you have that extra oomph you can put into it, right? Like, you know, a 150 pound me versus 190 pound me to just like physically like move, you know, 4 plates, for example, like that's a 40 pound of mass to like move a bar. That's harder, right? Like it's just straight up.
Yeah. Well, especially when you get, like you said, like honestly, I probably didn't. I don't know. It's tough to say. Like for certain exercises, it doesn't matter at all. Like you're doing a bicep curl, it probably don't matter. But at the same time, if you're loading a barbell and you're doing 120 or 115 pounds for curls, and you're going from 190 pounds, like you said, to 150 pounds, on that negative, that's going to throw your leverage up, right?
Yeah, that'll whip you.
Exactly. So certain exercises, it doesn't matter. So like perfect exercise would be like a seated alternating dumbbell curl. It doesn't matter if you weigh 200 pounds or you weigh 120 pounds, right? Like you're strength is going to be your strength there, whatever, based on whatever it is, right? If these were two different people.
There's actually two movements I've noticed. Lat pull down, I can literally hang from the bar. I have to get like almost momentum to get into the seat. And then triceps, I have to like rig, like I either have to do like either like a single arm movement, or like I've been doing them on the bench actually, like a incline bench extension. But to actually do a standing tricep now, it's almost like I can't brace anymore, because I'm like the strength to body weight ratio is now opposite.
They're tough for like it's tough like that, and for some people that are like taller with longer levers, it's tougher too, right? Like it all depends. Like there's many different exercises, but like that's just smart exercise selection whenever you decide like what you're doing, right? So if, like you're setting up a block where it's going to be 8 or 10 or 12 weeks, and like you're starting it 4 weeks before you start your prep, and then it's going to end like 6 weeks when you're into prep. Not too much is going to change probably, but if you're doing like a 12-week block and you're starting at 20 weeks out from a show and then 8 weeks out from a show, a lot of it's going to change.
Yeah.
So a lot of times during that sort of like phase, it might be smarter to just program a shorter block. If you're someone that like sticks with the exact same movement patterns without variation, like I would.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what this year will do, because this will be my longest. Like if everything goes right, this season goes till November, which is a long ass time.
Right.
And I've never had that before, so I'm really, this is for now my 9th show coming up and my 4th or 5th competitive season. I'm going into this year like basically doing something brand new, so it's it's nerve-wracking but exciting at the same time, because it's going to be so much. It's going to be huge for me to learn, but also like figure out, how do we make training not just go completely to shit over the course of like 11 months of dieting, basically.
Yeah, and that's something that you're going to walk that path yourself. And that's probably something I'll never do in my life. I'm not interested in any sort of 11-week competition season or 11-month competition season.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. We're gonna find out. That's why we're documenting it, because I'll be able to look back when I'm like 50 and be like, you dumbass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for a few years, you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then, you'll turn 50 and you're like, I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah. That probably took a year off my life. What are you observing right now in the bodybuilding world? We've got the Arnold's coming up, which has some exciting stuff going on with Ramy's looking good, Bonak's looking good. We got Athleticon coming up. Like, what are you observing in the world?
I like truly learned that like it doesn't matter what's on social media leading up to a show. So I'll tell you, like, you can like the usual suspects are going to be the usual suspects, and maybe someone will pop it. But like, I don't know, man. Like when it comes to that sort of stuff now, like what I take in from bodybuilding social media is like I just like the like certain personalities, right? Like man, it would be great if Cedric like could pull it off again. That's my guy, man. You know what I mean? Like he's real down to earth. He seems really genuine and all this stuff. I mean, Rami's got, I don't know, and you can only and this is a broken record, the commentary on it, but you can only say there's so much potential there for someone for so long.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, who cares at this point? You know what I mean? Like, I get sick and tired of it. And it's it's the longest reoccurring theme. It's the longest reoccurring theme in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And it's like, just, if you want it bad enough, just get in shape. You know what I mean? And I know it's not
especially at that level.
That simple, but, like, I mean, God, Rami can throw everything else away and just focus on that. You know what I mean? And he had been able to for very long. So, I don't know. I like whenever it's like a few days out, then I'll really give everything a good look over or anything. I'm not writing anything for Muscle Insider right now, so I haven't like delved into it too much. But I mean, my man is Cedric. Hopefully, comes in looking anywhere close to as good as he can be, and he'll be right near the top. But
I like.
He's also,
I've been liking Patrick Moore's physique.
Okay, so here's my spiel on Patrick Moore. First of all, looks like from what I follow him on social media, seems like a pretty great guy. He's like he looks like Mike Christian. He looks exactly like Mike Christian. He's got the same mustache. He's definitely trying to look like Mike Christian. If he does, that's all good. But I think he's a little bit overhyped because the Olympia was so underwhelming this past year.
And he was the new kid on the block too, right? Like he came in fresh face, like you said, maybe a weaker lineup. Yeah. Like the stars would have aligned for that hype train to take off. I agree with you. Yeah. I don't think. I think he's still, there's some heads above him for sure, right?
Yeah, but it depends. The Arnold's a little bit different than the Olympia because they do tend to generally go towards aesthetics a little bit more, right? Arnold gets in their ear because it's the Arnold Classic, and it's it's not like the big man show only like it is at the Olympia.
Yeah.
And he does have a very pretty physique. Even to me though, it's still not like the most aesthetic physique ever. He doesn't carry the craziest size. It's just a nice combination of everything, and it's not like a great or top tier level of everything.
Yeah.
But he can definitely finish top 5 if he comes in as conditioned as he was at the Olympia.
Yeah.
It's tough to tell by social media though. I think Josh Wade is doing it, and I saw a picture. First of all, I think he tore his quad or something like that. But I saw a picture of him, and he doesn't really look Arnold Classic ready for that. You know what I mean? And Josh Wade's another guy that I really like, and he seems like have a good personality. I don't know, man. It's wide open. What I'll say about Patrick Moore is I think he's probably not at that level yet. Yeah. And that's probably a really disheartening thing to say. And someone said that about me, I'd be like, this guy for sure. But I think you're right. New fresh face, even though I think he's in his high 30s. I'm pretty sure.
Age wise?
What was that?
You said age?
Yeah, high 30s.
Bro, he's 24.
Patrick Moore?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'll Google it right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in his high 30s. I'm pretty sure a pretty long amateur career.
No.
But Rafael Brandau is doing the Arnold Classic as well, is he not?
I want to say yes.
Okay, well, if he is, that's another physique I like, but those are the guys, not that I think they would win, but they were the guys that I would enjoy most if they placed favorably.
Of course, I can't find his age. What do you think of Flex Lewis doing the Open?
I don't know what to think. I know what he's I know his last two 212 Olympias, he had an incredibly difficult time making weight. That's at least what I'd heard. Can he still look as? First of all, I didn't think the last 2 Olympics he went to, he was as streamlined and as crisp.
Oh yeah.
So, I'd hate to see him ruin his lines and his aesthetics by trying to get on stage at 230 or 235.
Yeah, try to get big.
Do I think that he could actually look good at 235 and be a top 6 Olympia competitor? Yeah, for sure. He could. I don't know, man. The thing with the open bodybuilding right now, and I didn't want this to happen, and I was the biggest denier of this, is there aren't very many physiques that are truly aesthetic still in the open that are finishing well, because you get up there at 255, some lines are going to go, and that's just the way it is. And It just seems like that the direction that they've taken that to kind of make a distinct line between classic and open.
I listened to this interview with Sean Ray the other day, and it's interesting. Well, he was just talking about the older generation, the classic guys and stuff like that. And it's amazing how like so he was like 175 on stage. I didn't know that. And then like even yeah, and like the big guys, like besides like Yates and stuff like that, like a big guy back then was like 210, 215. Like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And now
yeah, that was like when Sean he turned pro young.
Yeah, he was like 20.
And so for a while they were calling guys like Charles Claremont big guys, which I mean, and if anyone doesn't know who Charles Claremont is, you like Google that name right now. That's an awesome physique. But like, yeah, there was a bunch of guys like that. Like, I mean, even first of all, his first Olympia, LeBron was like a pretty big guy, and he was probably like for that Olympia, and he was probably like 225, 230, probably. Yeah. I think. Yeah, like I mean, Sean Ray, Lee Labrada, all these guys, right? I mean, like Benaziza, these were all like guys that were definitely sub 180, and like even towards Sean, the end of his career, like there were guys like Nasser and obviously like Ronnie and all this stuff that were huge, John Few and there's a bunch of other big guys, right? But like there were still a lot of guys competing at the Olympia or like placing well through the contest season that were 195, 200, 205 pounds in the open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
like,
crazy.
Lee Priest. I mean,
yeah,
Lee Priest is like, you could say whatever you want about him since he's retired, but like
his physique was unreal.
You could make the argument that he's one of the best 200-ish pound bodybuilders ever.
What did Tom Platz weigh?
Like, he's like, I don't know. That's a really great physique. I mean, it's different now. Think if someone that was 200 pounds, no matter how great their aesthetics were, would get on stage at the Olympia against these 250 or 255, 260 pound monsters. It's totally apples and oranges.
Do you think?
So where did it go, right?
Yeah. Do you think that? How do I put it? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get as excited, and maybe it's just because like I'm a little bit older. I don't know. Like when I was like a teenager, like going through the magazines and that kind of stuff, like names that I like really would look at would be like, you know, like Kai back then I thought was amazing. Like Phil Heath, like 2011, super unreal physique. Frank McGrath, like those old animal things. Like, do you think like that? Like, why do you think? Because I think like me and you are on the same wavelength when it comes to just bodybuilding in general with our kind of attitude towards it. Like, why do you think that is? What's missing? Or what's gone?
A lot of it, like everyone used to say, like everyone says, like the commentary or whatever, the undertones is that the quality isn't there. Okay, well, it really depends. Like quality in bodybuilding is a very ambiguous term. Quality doesn't actually attribute to one specific thing.
Yeah.
The one thing about it is, for sure, I think the depth of the top level competitors is much less. Okay, so whenever always at the Olympia, and this is nothing new, there's always been about 10 or less guys that could really potentially somehow upset and win or finish the top three. Yeah. That's pretty normal. On that, I think maybe since Ronnie left, you know the separation between them. But back in the 90s, anyone could jump into any of these circuit shows and win it in the IFBB. Yeah. Anyone could go to the Olympia and get a top three. It really came down to how you looked at. There was times where Chris Cormier is one of the goats. He really is. He never won an Olympia. He's not one of these uncrowned Mr. Olympia guys, but if you were to make a list of the 25 or 30 best bodybuilders of all time, you probably have Cormier on there first. I would say for sure you do.
Yeah.
He never super brought it when he was in his prime with the development that he had,
Right.
and he just couldn't find that way into, like being a serious threat to the Olympia. Like, and I'm using that a little bit loosely, but now it's social media. It's a little bit more driven on storylines. Well, the truth of the matter is, it's not a very glamorous sport, right? So, like, now
they're trying
the
to
people
make
that are
it
more
glamorous,
oh
right?
god. Well, like, now what it is like people are looking towards personalities in bodybuilding. Okay, so and this isn't a new thing. It's just it's very apparent now.
Yeah.
Well, there aren't very many. Okay, so there aren't very many personalities in bodybuilding. First of all, it's a niche sport, and at that, out of those niche sports, it's buried underneath. It's not the most popular niche sport. And then there's no teams or anything like that, so you can't associate with a team.
Yeah.
You can only kind of associate with people. And a lot of these people are, first of all, maybe like a little bit afraid to put themselves out there on social media, which is fine. Like, that's their own prerogative, whatever. But the people that are outwards are sometimes, sometimes it's so fabricated. Like, there's Canadian pros out there that, man, I was like really excited for their actual bodybuilding career. And now it's just like your whole persona is this fake, fabricated, Instagram-y, YouTube-y BS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about that, man. Like, I'm a purist when it comes to everything. Like, we've talked about this. Like, when it comes to boxing, when it comes to anything, like when it comes to bodybuilding, I'm a purist. I like the competition of it. Like, I like seeing who can be the best. I don't really give a crap about all these 30-second funny videos that you're putting out, like tag 6 friends, and like, don't you hate it when your girl walks in and then I don't care about that. I do not care about that at all.
Do you think that speaking for myself, you might be able to echo this statement, that I was attracted to bodybuilding because it was kind of like you kind of just did your thing, like, away from everything, right? Like, you went to the gym, you like cooked your food. It was almost like you were just like in your own world within the world, if that makes any sense. And now it's very much like you said, guys are trying to be like the vlog and the Insta famous and that guys. And I mean, like, who am I to diss them? Because, like, I do part of that too. But I think that I don't know, just at that top level, it's almost just all about that dollar, and it's taking away from the love of and the purity, like you said, of like what I was attracted to, right? Like, I was attracted to those magazine photos of like the dude just in the dungeon gym, and it's just black and white, and it's quiet, and it's like, you versus, like, I don't know, man. Like, it's different.
Yeah. So for me, man, I never got into bodybuilding or competitive bodybuilding with any sort of tangible goal in mind. I just started doing it because I thought like I would like it. Turns out I big time liked it.
Same as
and
you.
Then
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, like I eventually, a lot of people told me I could compete. I pushed them off for a long time. I pretty much got annoyed of it, and then eventually I just gave in. And I was like, okay, well, I can't listen to anyone else. I have to find out for myself if I can do it. And so, like, I did it, and it was like, I never want to take that away or anything like that, but I still, I'm not defined by competitive bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Like, and really no one should be. Like, you're putting all of your eggs in that basket, and you're living as a monk if you decide to do just that, right? So you can do many other things and still take this very seriously. If your goal is something extreme, like if your goal is something extreme, like getting a pro card, competing as a pro, winning like a world pro championship or something like that, you have to do that for a certain amount of time, right? You have to just gotta go in this monk lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think we're crabby old men, probably. We're both 45 for real. But it is different, and like,
I hate
a lot of
that
people.
It's different. I do. Like, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't get excited about following. So, like, man, when Jay and Ronnie were doing their thing, I got pumped, right?
Oh.
Like, I wanted to see I couldn't wait to go to Walmart and get that magazine and see the comparison photos. but now I could give two shits, right? Like there's no one there that I'm like, man, that's sick. No, I don't have that at all.
There's a few for sure. There's a few physiques that are still like you see pictures of them, and you're like, wow, I like if I could never look like that now that we're both in our mid-20s, and that dream is definitely fading because we know exactly what goes into it at that level. Are we willing to do that? Probably not, but
no,
which is no big deal. But yeah, like the like it's like the flame kind of dimmed on the purity of bodybuilding sometimes, and that's disheartening, and that kind of makes me draw away from it. So
what do you before you continue? I'm really curious because this is something that I've been really trying to figure out for myself. Without bodybuilding, okay.
Oh God, don't.
Because I'm really
comedian. I would have been a comedian. I would have so much more money. I'd be gone. But I would have been a comedian.
Comedy, eh? Because I'm a huge comedy fan.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Me and you are one of the.
And I'm still thinking about doing it because I'm still a young pup, so I could still do it at any time I want.
But besides bodybuilding, like, what do you?
Yeah.
What are highlights in your day? Like, what do you look forward to? What are you interested in? Like, what are you about? Yeah.
Right there. I mean, what am I interested about? Like, I like cars. I'm not like a mechanic or anything like that. But like if you're asking like passions, man, first of all, that's a great question. I don't know. That's a crazy question.
That's where I wonder. Like, I don't have good answers to that too, and like I'm genuinely concerned with like when if this attitude towards bodybuilding like continues to just kind of creep.
You have to have a backup plan. Yeah, you have to do other things.
Yeah, like what am I left with?
So like for me, like first of all, I've always just liked making people feel good. So I should have been a male prostitute, obviously.
Well, duh.
But I should have been a male prostitute, obviously. But
that's what we'll title this podcast.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to put this on YouTube. But I like helping people. I like making people feel good. I like making people laugh. And like sometimes I kind of get lost along the way. And right now for me, competitive bodybuilding is on the back burner, and it's simmering. It's not even like I don't have it on 3 and I don't have it on 6. That's for damn sure.
It's very just low.
On 1. Yeah. So the things I am passionate about are training, nutrition, and actually helping people. So like a lot of people don't like know too much about me, obviously from your podcast, but like I still hold 4 jobs, and like all of my jobs, I'm actually able to help people at least somewhat through either fitness, nutrition, training, some sort of health coaching, all of them.
Yeah.
I'm really fortunate that I can actually help people like that. The thing that I'm most passionate about though is probably I don't know, man. It's a little bit like I like just the improving the general welfare of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like sometimes listen, honestly, I can't often do that at a grand scale. It's usually a really micro scale.
Yeah.
But I also probably wouldn't like the responsibility of a macro scale doing that. And like that's crazy. That's when like you're getting into like a family, and that's weird. But I just like if there was like a terminology for it, it would just be improving welfare, I guess. Like that's what I like most, man. I used to think that like before I got into this stuff that I wanted to be a psychologist, and then
dude, you're tripping me out.
Yeah, my guidance counselor at high school talked me out. Yeah, I know. Maybe. God. Yeah.
Mom!
I think about this sometimes, like pretty often, a lot more often now, actually, and it's kind of like it. I'm uncomfortable with thinking of it, actually. So sometimes it stresses me out even.
Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
Like I seriously think that probably by the time before I'm 30, I'm going to segue into something a little bit more permanent instead of like an interest or a hobby with making people laugh or helping people out, something like that. Weird, eh? Man, I'm so 40, bro.
We're having quarter life crises right now on YouTube.
Yeah. I had a couple. It's all good.
What, any idea? Like, what could that entail?
I've thought about starting a podcast myself, but not bodybuilding related because whatever. There's, you know what I mean?
There's more to life.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna start taking an action toward it though, because I'm almost getting complacent with everything else that I have going on.
Right.
And like I've been looking for a little bit more lately, so yeah. Or I could just get another dog, or get a second dog.
Yeah, do that first.
Yeah.
Man, this podcast took a turn.
Yeah, there you go.
We're almost an hour deep, so we should probably wrap this up. Any closing words, my friend?
No, I don't think so, man.
What do you train Sundays before we leave?
What do I train Sundays? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Can't be chest and triceps. And whatever's freshest.
Okay. When do you know what's freshest? How quickly ahead of time can you make that call? Saturday night?
Man, if you want to train anything except chest and triceps on a Sunday, just let me know.
You want to do back this Sunday?
Yeah. Sure.
and then we can discuss the future.
Yeah, there you go, man.
This might be the last episode of the podcast. Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, let's plan for that then. That'll be cool. I'm excited.
All right, sounds good, man.
10 a.m. I think is what we did last time.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sunday, 10 a.m.
Sweet.
Sure.
We'll be talking. All right, man. I appreciate you coming on this last minute. You've enlightened the audience, of course, as always.
Yeah. My very sophisticated brain.
That's right. That 40-year-old brain.
Yeah.
All right, man. You have a good night, brother.
All right, you too, man.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. If you learned anything at all, please like this video. If you didn't, then still like the video because it helps the podcast out. Have a good night, man.
Yeah.
Peace.